I'm filming the images in this review on a Sony a7S with a Metabones adapter. The Metabones EF to E is a high quality lens adapter with fantastic build quality at a premium price. If you want the best EF to E adapter, then the Metabones is the one to buy. The Canon EFS 10-18mm f4.5 to 5.6 IS STM is a bargain. It cost me only £230 and 81 pence from Amazon.co.uk. The lens comes with front and rear caps but no lens hood. The lens hood from Canon cost me £16. This lens hood will stay on the lens permanently as it protects the front element. The Canon 10-18 is designed for a crop sensor camera only and it will not cover full frame. 10-18mm on a Sony APS-C body will give you a full frame angle of view of 15 to 27mm. This super wide angle zoom lens is good for travel, landscape, architecture, interior, vlogging and everyday shooting. The f4.5 to 5.6 aperture does not let in a lot of light. This lens is made in Taiwan, so don't expect a Canon L grade build, and the lens is not weather sealed. The whole lens is made from high quality plastic, even the lens mount. I have no issues with the build quality, and the lens is super lightweight at only 240 grams. The filter diameter is 67mm, which is a common size on Canon lenses. This 10-18mm is a focus by wire lens. You can only manually focus the lens when the camera is turned on. The focus ring turns rather smoothly. The front element does not extend when focusing and it doesn't rotate, so you can use a rotatable filter. Amazingly, this lens does not suffer from focus breathing, and one thing to note is that the STM motor is really quiet, so well done Canon. The f4.5 aperture is only available at 10 and 11mm. By 12mm, f5 is the maximum aperture. At 15mm, the maximum aperture is f5.6. 10-18mm is not a big zoom range, but there is a notable difference between 10 and 18mm. The large zoom ring does turn rather smoothly, and the barrel only extends a few millimeters when zooming. The Canon 10-18mm has image stabilization, which Canon rates at 4 stops. Here is an example with the IS turned off, and here is an example with the IS turned on. The image stabilizer is really quiet and cannot be heard on video recording. Autofocus is not a strong point of adopted lenses, so I use this combo in manual focus only. So how is the image quality of the Canon 10-18mm STM? At 10mm and f4.5, the lens is very sharp in the centre. The corners are a little soft and show chromatic aberrations on contrasting edges. Stop down to f8 and the corners improve. At f10, the sharpness is perfect across the entire frame, however chromatic aberrations do remain. At 18mm and f5.6, the lens is very sharp in the centre. The corners are a little soft and show chromatic aberrations on contrasting edges. The corners improve at f8 and at f10 the lens is perfect across the whole frame. Again, the corner CA remains. Lens charts are one thing, but in real world images, I find this lens to be sharp enough and perfectly usable at f4.5. The chromatic aberrations have not been a problem in my video images. Now for distortion and vignetting. At 10mm, the lens shows a little barrel distortion. At f4.5, the vignette is dark in the corners. Stop down to f5.6 for brighter corners, and at f8 the vignette is gone. At 18mm, there is barely any lens distortion. At f5.6 the corners are dark, but step down to f8 and the vignette is gone. The minimum focus distance is 22cm, so you can get super close to your subject. The 10-18mm has a super spectral coating, which does seem to help with flare. Now for bokeh. The f4.5 to 5.6 aperture is not going to create large bokeh balls. At 10mm, the bokeh balls do have a little colour fringing but show no other artifacts. At 18mm, the colour fringing is more pronounced, but I see no onion ringing or other busyness. When you can get bokeh from this lens, it does look rather nice and smooth. So to conclude, I really like this lens from Canon. The 10-18mm is an ultra-wide lens that covers an APS-C sensor at a bargain price. Yes, it's a plastic lens, but the build quality, small size and lightweight is great. I must point out that my first copy of this lens stopped working after only 2 months. I'm still in talks with Canon about having this lens repaired. I have no idea what happened, but it's like the electronics just stopped working. My second copy is actually a little better because it does seem to be parfocal. I find the images on this lens to be perfectly usable when shot wide open or stopped down to f10 for razor sharp landscape shots. This lens is my best option for any 3-axis gimbal due to the ultra wide angle, lightweight and great image stabilization. This lens works brilliantly on my Zhiyun crane-free lab. Sony's version of this lens costs a whopping £599 on Amazon. The Sony 10-18 has a metal barrel, a constant f4 aperture and features Sony's OSS image stabilization. I have not used this lens, but for the price, I'm happy enough with this Canon version. So if you're after a budget wide angle lens that can only cover an APS-C sensor, then I think this lens is for you. The Canon 10-18mm STM comes highly recommended. Thanks for watching.